Hello and welcome to everybody. Thanks for joining today's webinar. Hopefully you can all see and hear us well, but send us a message if you're having trouble with that. So today we're going to be talking about enhancing real-time drilling operations, and more specifically we are talking about integrated solutions for geosteering and directional drilling. So I'm joined here today by my colleague Romulo Cuevas and our special guest speaker from Innova, Jay McLelland. So let's get started, everybody. Romulo, you able to change the slide? Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sure.
Right, perfect. Slight delay in the internet, but we're all good. So today's agenda for the webinar, let me just briefly go through that. We're going to start with some introductions. So I know there are a lot of people on today's call that might not know who we are. So I'm going to talk about ROGII and our platform StarSteer. And then I'm going to hand over to Jay, who's going to talk about Innova Drilling and Interventions and their solutions. And then we're briefly going to discuss directional drilling and the geosteering integration. Then we're going to have a live demo of a real-time workflow. So that should be exciting. We'll see the tools in action. And then we'll summarize and we'll have time for questions and final comments at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to introduce who we are. My name's Joanna. I'm the regional manager for ROGII in Europe. So I'm looking after our customers throughout the region of Europe. My colleague Romulo's here on the call.
Hello everyone. Thanks for joining the meeting. I'm Romulo Cuevas. I'm a senior technical analyst here in Europe, supporting the companies in Europe in the technical side.
And Jay.
Thanks, Joanna. So morning, afternoon, everyone. So as Joanna mentioned, my name's Jay McLelland. I am the technical manager with Inova. I've been with the company for the last 8 years, and prior to that, I held positions as well planner and directional driller for an oil and gas service company.
Welcome, Jay. So we also have behind the scenes a few people from ROGII and from Innova who are able to answer questions as we work through today's webinar. So please feel free to use the Q&A function in this Teams call. So yeah, just ask away whatever questions you might have, and we'll hopefully get through them today. Okay, so moving on, and just like a little introduction about ROGII. So ROGII are an IT solutions company, and we provide solutions for upstream oil and gas industry. Also, I do want to mention we work in the geothermal and CCUS space too. But to be more specific, we're looking at real-time solutions in the technology space. So we have around 300 plus people now distributed around the globe. Our workforce is mainly in-house software engineers, geoscientists, and mathematicians. So we began our journey around 11 years ago in Houston. And now we're quite widely spread. What we're most famous for is our geosteering solution. It's called StarSteer, and you'll see a little bit more of StarSteer in action today. So in terms of technology deployed, so we have over 400 customers around the globe using our technology. You'll see some big names there on the screen. We're working with many more people. If you're not working with us, do reach out. We'd love to have an introduction with you. But this essentially amounts to over 3,500 people using our technology, and mainly our technology is used by people in the geoscience discipline, but also working in drilling, completions, and data analytics. And our software is currently used on both conventional and unconventional projects around the world. So just to talk briefly about StarSteer, I'll hand over to Romulo.
Yeah, so StarSteer is our geoscience platform, right? Focusing geosteering, and the platform, the software, allow you to integrate different type of data. For instance, for pre-job stage, you can integrate offset wells, LWD logs, maps, grids, seismic, 3D models, and then you can build different scenarios for a pre-job stage to understand your model. Then in real time, there is a unique function that you can use different geosteering techniques simultaneously or depending on the complexity of the reservoir to build a solid model in real time. And also for post-drilling, you can perform like updating the grids after the geosteering have done, after you create a solid model using the real-time logs. You can plan different wells and to be ready for the next job. Also, you can go inside of the resistivity inversions to find more insight about which inversion you should use, like to improve every time the result of your resistivity inversions. And furthermore, we have like the machine learning capabilities. So we call auto steering. So the software can create its own interpretation, and we use it as a second opinion to speed our geosteering interpretations, or when we have several wells and we wanted to make it faster and have like a general overview of the structure for performing the geosteering. Okay.
So let's move on to Jay. Jay, would you want to talk about Innova?
Perfect, thank you. So Innova was founded in 2011, and we're a technology company that specialises in industry-leading software solutions which are tailored specifically to the energy sector. Our software focuses on 3 core areas. We have directional drilling, well planning, and drilling engineering. I'll talk a little bit more about them on the next slide. We have a global market presence. I would say North America currently represents our primary market, where we're the software of choice for almost all of the directional service companies. Customers also include the operators and well engineering companies. I would say that probably one of the things that really sets Innova apart is our team. So most of us have direct experience working in the energy sector as well planners, directional drillers, MWD engineers, and drilling engineers. And this hands-on experience really gives us a deep understanding of our clients' challenges and enables us to develop software that truly meets their needs. If you could move on to the next slide, Romulo, please. Thank you. So as I mentioned, the 3 core areas that we specialise in are directional drilling, well planning, and drilling engineering. And as such, users can utilise the software all the way from the initial design phase through the drilling phase and beyond to post-well analysis. Now in the drilling phase, well planners and drilling engineers can plan the well trajectory, ensuring that they hit all the desired targets and avoid any offset wells by running anti-collision scans. They can then run torque and drag and hydraulics calculations to ensure the well can be drilled within the limitations of the rig and the available tools. At the rig site, your directional driller can use the software to enter the surveys, ensure they're following the desired plan, while at the same time using our integrated daily reporting package to record all of the rig site operations. Now, all of which is being sent back to the client server database in real time, which gives them full operational oversight to everybody involved in the project. And it allows for real-time optimization, utilising things like our EDR data and engineering calculations. At the end of the job, our analytics package then allows for a comparison of key performance indicators across multiple wells, giving invaluable insights across all the company operations. Now, this ensures that the lessons learned are identified and carried across to the next project. And all of this is achieved basically through a suite of desktop and web-based applications and accommodates single rig operations through to multiple global drilling operations and everything in between. Go to the last slide, please, Romulo. Thank you. So one of our primary goals is to offer solutions that enhance data flow and as much as possible, simplify complex manual processes. To achieve this and meet the industry's constantly evolving needs, we enhanced our software solutions with an API integration. So the API enables cross-platform communication and data transfer, and it provides our clients with a more streamlined and efficient workflow. The API not only enhances the data accessibility, but it also fosters collaboration with like-minded companies such as ROGII, allowing us to work together to help improve the workflow, deliver value, and deliver added value to our shared customers. So as you can see from this slide, we've already implemented several different types of integrations with a range of industry-leading software providers. And of course, the one we're going to be talking about today is Geosteering.
Okay, so as a light demo, we have prepared a project. So this is the StarSteer interface. I believe the majority of you know. So what we are going to do, we are going to have to send this projection from StarSteer, that we are going to show this interaction from the projection of our target line to the other software World Seeker, where in the World Seeker we will create a plan, and the plan will be generating World Seeker, and it will be pop up in StarSteer again. So as you can see in this project, we have this blue line here is my actual horizontal well. This is inside of the reservoir, right? And I have a red line here, which is my well plan. Okay, so by now the drillers are following the well plan, and we have also image logs, density image log, resistivity logs, density logs, gamma ray logs. So now I'm going to perform geosteering. So I go to mode, geosteering, and I can see like, okay, I'm following with this stratigraphic technique. I'm following my stratigraphic position based on the correlation between my gamma ray, resistivity, and density logs. And I can see in this area that the log is different. I have like a low value in gamma ray. I have a high value in the density log, so I can split the log here and keep following this correlation. So I know like, okay, perhaps we have crossed here a fall. If I want to, matching my density peak here and my low gamma ray in this area. So, and then I can visualize also my image log, and I can see that there is a chart, like a contrast here in my image log. So I'm going to bring this fall a little bit here to match with my image log too. So everything is matching here. My gamma ray density is matching, and also my image log is suggesting this sharp contrast. So now I know like I am actually outside of the reservoir, because we crossed a small fall around 4.4 throw, and I need to change the inclination. I need to change my projection, right? So I'm gonna activate my target line. So, and I can place my target line inside of the reservoir based on this interpretation. And after that, we can, start sending this information to Well Seeker. So I'm going to open Well Seeker here, and my friend Jay will, talk about a little bit more about the interface here.
Thanks, Romulo. So yeah, so what we're seeing here is this is our desktop application, Well Seeker Pro, and this is what would be in the field. The directional drillers would be using this, and they'll have the principal well plan on here, and they'll be putting the surveys in as they go along. They will be doing the daily reporting and everything else within here, and there's tools that they will utilize as they're drilling along to help them stay as close to the target line as they possibly can. Now, what Romulo is showing you here is we've now in a situation where the directional driller is drilling a well where we have a lateral, and as they have landed out the curve and as they're now into the lateral, they are aware that there may be some level of geosteering depending on how things go, and the data that comes back from your MLWD tools. Now, historically, what would happen is you would have your geosteerer, your geologist, sitting with the StarSteer software, and the directional driller would be on the rig, with WellSeeker, and they would be a new target line, which would then get emailed or sent through somehow digitally to the directional driller, who would then have to take this information and manually enter that into WellSeeker to create a new target line. And they would then have to take that and they would then have to send that back to the geologist so that they could then put it into the system and make sure that we were all on the same page. So what we've done now is we've simplified this process massively to try and cut down on the potential for human error and to cut down on the number of steps required so that it speeds the whole process up. So now what the directional driller would do is when they get into the lateral, all they would do is they go to the tools menu, if you could, Romulo, and they would select the solar cloud target lines. Now, in here, there's only two things that you really need to enter. You need to enter a username and a password. Now, the username and the password from here would be on the StarSteer side, so they would be provided with that information. And then the way that the two systems communicate or understand the wells that you're looking at is based on the API number. So you have the API number in WellSeeker, you have the API number on the StarSteer side, and it will see that and it will understand and it will give you the OK. Now, this is, when we first released this originally, we had a system, or we had a dialogue where you would go in and you could select down to your target lines. There was more information in than this. And based on feedback from our clients that were using this, they were looking for something that was a little bit more simplified, make it easier for people to use without having to understand too much about it. And we came up with this. So this is an evolution based on the feedback that we've got from our clients. Makes it super simple, and then all you have to do is select from the auto update. You select it to yes, and you would then hit apply and close, and the system would then now be in a situation where every 30 seconds we will check on the StarSteer side to see whether or not there is a starred target line, and that'll pop back over to Romulo to show you how that would look.
Yeah, so once we understand the structural tendency with the interpretation, and we have the projection now with the target line, I'm in the reservoir, I can just do right click in my target line and set the starred. The connection is already done in WellSeeker. So if I come back to WellSeeker here, I just need to wait a little bit, like 30 seconds. WellSeeker is, reviewing which target line is started in the project to send to create the new well plan, basically.
Yeah, so your directional driller at this point would be drilling along, following the line. They don't need to know anything, and literally it will just pop up as you've just seen on the computer. So this is the target line as it would normally be sent via an email.
Yeah. So the target line with my projection in TBD, dips, everything. So what they need to do, is just hit accept here, and the software automatically will create a new well plan, as you can see here in the 3D view.
Yeah. So what happens at this point is that there are a couple of things happen. The first thing is that on the left-hand side in the database tree, a new target line will be created, and that new target line will have a date and a timestamp to give us a level of traceability as to when it was accepted. The target line information is also saved into a dialogue where we, again, every time you get a new geosteering update, it will save that and catalog it for you. It also makes the plan principal, so that is going to be the main plan that is going to be followed by the directional driller, and it will set it up as an offset well in your 3D or any of your plots. So what you can see there is the new target line. Now, something to point out is you can see that it's a very sharp line from the original plan. It's designed like that. It's not designed to be a well planner's plan that would, maybe use a 2-degree dogleg to build and hold and then drop. This is literally something that the directional driller now aims for. And the directional driller has the toolkit that they need within the software with our project ahead functionality that they can then project ahead and get back on that target line, within the parameters that are work for them in terms of what their tools are capable of, what they've been seeing. So then once this has been done, As soon as that target line has been created, it now gets automatically pushed back to the StarSteer system. So basically it forms a closed loop system where, you know, it's a click of a button on the StarSteer side, click of a button on the well seeker side, and everybody's now kept up to date.
Exactly. So in the StarSteer here inside the well, I get automatically the new well plan. As you can see, this is my new well plan. So the drillers need to aim now to bid inclination and aim these DVDs I'm projecting here. So I'm just going to send into StarSteer. I'm gonna bring more survey data. Okay, so imagine the directional driller are, you know, drilling to aim this position here. I'm gonna send more logs data. And more image log data. Here. Okay, so once I get more data, right? So what we need to keep doing as a geologist, as a geosteerers, we need to keep, you know, making the interpretation. So I know, okay, I am coming back into my reservoir. The driller's actually bid inclination, finding the TV position I project before, following this new well plan, right? And I can see, okay, I cross twice meet this high density peak, right? So I just keep, you know, I'm gonna keep following my stratigraphic correlation here. I can see that now I'm like in this area of the reservoir, and at the end, actually, I am a little bit higher instead of the reservoir, as you can see, like in this area. So my interpretation, based on my correlation, I can see the structural tendency is dipping down 1 degree. So it's not anymore 90, it's not anymore flat. So we need to actually change again the projection. Otherwise, if we follow this plan we just create, we will exit the reservoir from the top again. So what we need to do is actually, now I'm going to reset the star here. I'm going to activate another target line. So in this case, this target line will help me to drop inclination. I'm going to extend it. So now my projection is actually to drop inclination to hit this area that I believe I'll be there based on my interpretation. Okay, so I'm going back to well seeker now. And I'm just going to clean this survey 1, the 3D view. I'm going to open the survey 2. So this is like the current survey we have until like the current MD.
Yeah, so this is basically just, we have now, from that target change, we're now fast forwarding a couple of 100 feet. The directional driller has been following the new target line that they've had, and at this point now, we're going to get this new geosteering update.
Exactly. So now if I come back to StarSteer, what I need to do is again do right click in my new target line based on my interpretation, and then set the start. And now I just wait here in well seeker, right? Every 30 seconds, well seeker is, you know, scanning for new target lines to you know, keep updating this plan trajectory based on the interpretation of the geologist. Well placement. Yeah,
and you can set you can set up the time that it checks to a different frequency. 30 seconds is good, because then you don't miss anything, but if you wanted to make it longer, you could.
So now I received my new target line 2. So with the TVD inclinations, I project there. So I'm going to click here, accept. So now I have my target line number 2. So let me open here the 3D view. Bring here. So now I can see that I have my new well planned trajectory that is actually now is going down, following my interpretation that is dipping down now the formation, right?
Yep. So then the directional driller now from this point onwards has got the new target line that they're going to follow, and they will adjust their steering requirements based on that. And then this is just this is now eat, sleep, repeat. They'll continue to drill the lateral, and there could be 1, 10, 100 geosteering changes. It doesn't matter. It's just anytime a new one comes up, it will pop up on the screen. They hit accept, creates a new line for them, pushes it back to geology, and move on until we TD the well.
Yeah, exactly. Basically that's the loop. So again, here, if I open StarSteer, I can see my new well plan trajectory, so the drillers can eye in this area, and we will still, geosteering, making the correlation using different geosteering techniques to understand the structural tendency of the reservoir in real time. And the transition, this projection is quite fast and easier. Okay, so.
Oh, just while you're, sorry, with the, we have the StarSteer screen open and, Well Seeker Pro open. I just wanted to ask a question. Actually, we haven't had any questions yet in the chat, but I was actually wondering, of course, when we're working with real-time operations, we often have quite a number of people involved in the drilling of a well. Not just obviously the operations geologist doing the geosteering and the directional driller, but there can be various other number of people who really want to follow along as we're drilling. And so I'm wondering how can we do that? How can we set this up for these people? Is there a way for them also to collaborate in this process? I'll ask Jay first, and then maybe Romulo, you can also answer from StarSteer side.
Yeah, great question, Joanna. So from the Innova side, what would tend to happen is that if our client, the service provider, is utilizing a server database infrastructure, then what we have is we have a server database which is located in a cloud-based environment, and when the guys are working in the field, they will work on a local database. Now, within our system, we have communication between the server and the local database, and it's a data synchronization. So basically, anything that happens on the local machine, when the directional driller hits save, it automatically syncs up to the cloud. So anybody that has access to that cloud, then it can be through Well Seeker remotely, it could be through our web portal or our mobile app. If they've got access to that anywhere in the world with the right login credentials, they will be able to see what's happening. Now, when a new plan is created on the local machine, and it's a principal plan in the way that we do within the workflow of this integration, then that new plan is automatically pushed up to the server database, which basically gives everybody on the Well Seeker side full visualization of that. So yeah, basically everybody's kept up to date of everything that's happening on the rig site.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, well, same happened here. So because we are working in the collaborative space of the cloud, in the solo cloud, right? So all the plans that arrive inside of this project, it will populate my global projects. If I'm working on this small virtual project just with one offset well, with my real time, my horizontal well, all this data will be updated in my global project. So everybody who has access to this global project or to the virtual project can see the new well plan available. And the good thing is also you can see that there is a time and date of the well plan, so everybody can see exactly which is the last one, and it's not like a room for mistakes when send emails with plans and all these trajectories.
Oh, thanks for answering my question. All right, well, I don't see any more questions from the chat here online, but hopefully, if people do have questions later on, they can also send us a message, and we'd be happy to answer those questions. But just really to review, this demo, which was actually really nice, very simple and easy process. you know, what the benefits are of this integration. And Jay and Romulo will, you know, chime in here, you know, make your opinions here too. But essentially, we're showing a seamless workflow. We can cut down on the human error process, where you're, you know, when you're drilling and you need to send new trajectories between your teams. And the way we can do this actually allows us to make decisions faster in real time. We're improving our collaborations between our directional drillers and our operations team. And this is a solution. It's really nice, and it can be scaled across all projects. So if you're working with StarSteer in your operations team and your directional drillers are using, well, Seeker Pro, there is nothing to stop you using this on all of your lateral wells globally, you know, and you know, taking full advantage of this. So we're looking at enhanced well placement, improving time and cost efficiency, because we're able to remain in the reservoir target zone for longer, because we can make those decisions quickly. And also we have quick turnarounds when we're adapting to challenging conditions, and we're drilling complicated wells. And so, of course, and you know, this enables us to maximize asset potential. So if you have any questions about this, you know, just get in touch with us, and we can talk you through it, how easy it is to set up, and if you need another run through, we're all happy to do that. So just get in touch. Okay, so
there's not like any question from the.
I don't see any
audience?
questions.
Not yet. Okay.
Oh yes, no, we do have one actually. So we have one that says, I think to connect to the external server with data is now prohibited by most companies. Is there a way to keep it inside an internal server?
I'm guessing that to a certain degree probably is from our side here. So yeah, so the external servers that we've got are cloud-based servers. We do have companies that maintain their own internal servers. Over time, we've found that most of them have migrated to the ones that we host. Almost all the companies, well, there's been no issue with any of the companies that we've worked with to this point with regards to accessing the data from an external server. Obviously, you've got to go through certain processes. You want to be SOC 2 accredited. Once all these things are in place and you've gone through all that information with the, you know, with the IT and cybersecurity side of things, then permissions can be put in place to do this. So I've not found it to be a prohibitive issue so far.
Yes, I agree as well. From the ROGII side, we're actually able to work with companies on their internal server systems too. We don't advise it because you need to constantly update this. This is quite a complicated process, but it is possible. The solution is there. So you know, and in terms of IT security, we're very hot on this subject. So you know, we can talk to your IT teams and walk them through our cloud security too. We have a few more questions now, which is great. So so we move on. So we have a question from Venezuela. One of your people, Romulo. Very nice. Yeah. So in case of designing a well path and we have collision problems, will the software recommend where to move to avoid collision? Sometimes entry-level engineers don't have the expertise to fix collision problems.
Yeah, so that'll be a question for me, Joanna. So yeah, good question. So the answer is at the moment, no. With regards to the target line is created based on the new target line plan is created based on the requirements sent by geology. Obviously, if you are drilling in an area that is that there's a it's crowded, there's maybe other wells round about you've got to be careful of, then there is a requirement at that point to run your anti-collision against that to see if it passes. And of course, the issue is that if it doesn't pass, then that's when a chat needs to be had as to where you're going to go for there, because the target line that's being created is based on the requirements of geology. So at the moment, no, the program will not automatically tell you. Down the line, who's to say that there's not something tied in with anti-collision as the target line is created that maybe highlights that there is an issue at that point. Again, that's something where down the line we can look at feedback, and that might be factored into to the calculation.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jenny. Yeah.
Also, I will highlight here that the projection we just demonstrate is based on inclination, right? But we can also adjust the target line based on azimuthal projection. So we could follow a plan with the anti-collisions and, try to keep the azimuthal path and just change a little bit inclination to keep geosteering inside of the reservoir, basically.
Great. Okay, so we have another question. Does this work with multi-waypoint target lines, or is it more convenient to work only adjusting the target line at the TBD?
Yeah. Yeah, it's working with multi points in the target line. I know it's a new feature in StarSteer, and yeah, it's the same. So the target line, as you can see, when we started the target line, you could see in the well seeker, you could see like the TBD position, and the initial and the ending point of my target line. But if you have more points, you would see the other points. A matter of we need to adapt to the new features of the middle points and everything. So the well plan will have more, a little more like features inside based on my well planned middle points, basically.
Okay, great. Thanks, Romulo. So we have another question. And I know a few people joined the webinar a little bit later, so it's good to recap this. So StarSteer output, just a question to confirm, the StarSteer output is a trajectory recommendation to the operational directional drilling, and that will be in real time.
So from my side, the line that we get information regarding the target line. So it's not it's a trajectory recommendation in so much as it gives us a line in space that we then need to take the current principal plan and then get it to that point to then give the directional driller something to aim for. The actual plan that's then taken beyond there, that's done within the well seeker side of things and then pushed back to StarSteer. So I guess to a certain degree it is a recommendation, because it gives you the point that we then need to adjust the existing plan to move to. Not sure if that answers the question. Hopefully it does.
Yeah, hopefully that answers the question. I think it does. But then I guess the directional driller can choose to go to that the trajectory that is taken from StarSteer.
Well, that's correct. I mean, the trajectory that then comes in and that's in there, it's then based on that fulfilling the requirements of you staying within your reservoir. The directional driller would then utilize the tools within WellSeeker to get onto that point. So they would, they know what dog legs their tools are capable of. They know the limitations of the tools. They know where they are in terms of, you're right at the end of the lateral at the start, what's going to hurt you down the line if you do something silly, if you put too big a dog leg in. So they'll utilize the tools within WellSeeker and their knowledge on site to then get to that line as quickly as they can in a manner that's not going to be detrimental to the well path.
Okay, good. Okay, I think that's clear. Another question, I think this one's for Romulo. How many wells can StarSteer be loaded with? How many wells can we put in there?
So in solo, I think, or in a project, I mean, I guess StarSteer can handle like thousands of wells, but it's gonna be heavier. We have tested in the Eagle Ford with around, I think, 100 of almost 1,000 think. Yeah, but the best is to have like a global project, and then you can create virtual projects and focus just on the area you're going to steer with the offset wells around. So you don't need to have a huge, big project. You can just work in a small virtual project, and then you can fit whatever structure you are building to the big global project. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Another question. This is I think we have a lot of interest. So it's really good to see. The directional driller on site did not design any new target, but the planning engineer and this have to be approved, or okay, I think this is our and/or question. So if the directional driller on site did not design any new target, but the planning engineer has to approve this, or the operations geologist has to instruct the directional driller with inclination having all of these calculations with dogleg 2.
Yeah.
So a clear plan ahead by the operations geologist should be produced first, in my opinion. So this is I guess a comment.
Yeah, it's exactly like the well placement engineers are, sending recommendations based on their interpretations in real time to aim the reservoir if there are any lateral changes or any fault. But then this projection should be accepted by the operator, like the well site geologist or any other superior, like the geology. The geologists that are like following the well, and then that's once it's approved, that new projection, the drillers can execute it and follow that projection. So the well placement engineer should be in contact always, like be working beside the operational geologist, from the operator company, basically.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I guess, really important. This is why we need to collaborate between the two teams, and then having this way to work together, where we're not necessarily having to exchange like so many emails to get to an understanding of what each team is trying to accomplish. I think is it's very powerful.
That's true.
Good. Okay, so I think we've answered most of the questions. Let me take a look.
I think we've got one more, and any other questions that come in, of course, we can answer after the fact. That's not a problem. The last one that I can see here is specifically a well seeker one, and it was I see this collaboration between well seeker and StarSteer will keep traceability. It's nice to reduce conflict between geologists and DD regarding responsibility of mistake. Is there any protocol within well seeker to confirm the new plan or new trajectory? So yeah, good question. So the target line is going to come in, the directional driller will accept it, and it will obviously then get pushed back to geologist. At that point, of course, the geologist on the StarSteer side then has the ability to look at that, and if there's something not right about that, then they would then come back, and that could be a phone call or something to say, look, this is not, something's gone wrong, this is not what it should be. So I guess the protocol would be to follow what we've just done, and then if anything wasn't right on either side, I mean, if you've always got to look at these things and apply a bit of sense to them as well, because if the directional driller got something and it came in and it was like, wow, that is a massive change, we maybe have to check this. So it is a closed loop system. And when things are working good, and they're working good, but sometimes if you have to question it, then maybe you do have to pick up the phone.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. The phone is also a lifeline sometimes in these situations. Very good. Okay. So, okay, we have another question here. When creating a well plan based on the last survey, does it update with the newly updated encountered survey? How do we make it interactive?
Yeah, well, the well seeker plots are interactive. So if you've got it open, any of the plots that you've got open, if you add a new survey, it will update those survey points. If you put a projection in, it will update. It will give you a line that's coloured green. You can change the colour if you want. And if you, in the situation of what we saw in our demonstrations, when you accept a target line, if you have a plot already open, it creates your new plan, makes it principal, and it also selects it as an offset well automatically. So on your plot, it will automatically pop up on your plot and show you